Hello, welcome back to the channel. You must be wondering why I've decided to mash up all my videos into one. Good question. Simple answer. I'm bored as fuck. Anyway, this video will contain every video regarding the 3D universe games. And I've decided to be a little creative in the order in which I've placed them. If you have watched these videos before, thank you. If you haven't watched these videos before, why? And if you have watched these videos before, prepare to watch it again. So sit back, get your lunch / dinner / second breakfast ready, because this is my experience with the 3D universe of Grand Theft Auto. After installing a million mods and launching the game on my PC, I was introduced to the classic Rockstar logos. Then I was introduced to the orchestral eargasm that is the GTA 3 theme. We were then introduced to the game's protagonist in the most cinematic way possible, Claude Speed, and then watched him get shot by his girlfriend. After getting shot, we witnessed the most 2001 way to break out a prisoner. Now, like always, I'm not going to talk about the story of GTA 3. Here, take these. Don't go spending them all at once, eh? I'm going to tell you my experience playing it, and tell you the one thing on why I don't particularly like GTA 3. Oh boy, let's get to business, shall we? The gameplay. First things first, the gameplay isn't any different than Liberty City Stories, but there's one major but in this game. And that's the fucking driving. Brother, this game's driving is frustrating with a capital fucking. The cars are made out of fucking paper. Just 2 or 3 collisions with NPC vehicles and the car's already smoking and on fire. It's easy to flip the car over as well. Like I said previously, driving in later games like San Andreas and Liberty City Stories, when you cause an accident with other cars, the cars will move slightly back and stop a few meters from its original position. But in this game, it's quite literally taking a one-way ticket to frickin' San Fierro. The cars are sometimes bumpy and a couple of sharp turns will cause the car, as mentioned previously, to flip over. If you don't know how the cars feel, just input the perfect traction sheet in GTA Vice City, and that's pretty much how the cars handle in this game. Thank God there aren't any bikes in this game, because if you had a 2-star wanted level, the police will be right on your ass and will eventually knock you off your bike and kill you. Which brings me to my next problem. The enemy NPCs and the police are brutal. Like mentioned in my Liberty City Stories video, after a certain mission in GTA 3, you end up upsetting a certain gang. The moment you set foot on their neighborhood, the whole community will start shooting at you and destroy your car. Oh, and to add to that misery, you can't jump out of the car while it's moving. You have to stop immediately, then get out of the car. So, when the car is on fire, you're going to die with the car. You'll have a much more difficult time with the cops in this game because they constantly ram into you, eventually damaging your car in such a way you might as well just drive into the water just to save time. It's much more easier to evade the cops in Need for Speed Most Wanted than in this game. Oh, and PC players are gonna hate this game with the amount of mods needed to run this game in the first place. The version of GTA 3 that I bought was from Steam in 2019, where they were having a special for all 3 Grand Theft Auto titles for like 99 Rand. For example, one of the many issues were when I first launched the game, the colors of the vehicles were off. A new color was invented that day, and it was called Navy Black. So I had to install a mod to correct that. You can watch this video to see all the fixes needed for this game. Oh, and if you think the frame rate of GTA 4 was bad, you clearly haven't experienced the amount of stuttering I had to endure in this game. I mean, my PC is powerful enough to play any game that is pre-2014 at medium to low graphics. I'm pretty sure GTA 3 would have played way better. So for now, I suggest you play the PS2 version. Or if you want to add a little spice in your life, there's the Dreamcast version that was recently modded for it. Oh, another thing, the camera is fixed. You cannot move the camera on your own at all. It moves with the character, and to make things even more frustrating, when you use the game's auto-aiming when shooting, camera is slow and decides to take its own time targeting enemies. Comparing GTA 3 to other games in the 3D universe, this is the most difficult game to play in the series. Certain things are unfair, but I think that's mostly due to me being spoiled with the polish of San Andreas and the stories games. It's definitely going to be difficult for new players. However, I do like this little animation that certain NPCs have when you're hijacking their vehicles. I just like that little snap they have when moving. Also, whatever the triads are saying here.
Not my cup of coffee.
Chad, you're so dead! Dead ahead! Scream Dream, you will my town, young man, asshole! Catch your charge! I'm starving here! I bust his ass so fast! Quick playing! Getting up all in my face! Easy dragon breath! Scania, ha! More money, more problems! Okay, hey, get your eyes checked! You call that driving? What's the threat? You're as blind as a bat! Shake it, baby! Foxy lady! Pain is my middle name! I see pain in your future! Somebody call a medic! You feel lunky punk! And the winner by knockout is...
Now, not everything was doom and gloom, but let's move on to what I liked about GTA 3. And let's start off with the actors. Now, this game featured many actors that I never expected to be part of any video game ever, which surprised me with the amount of star power that this game had. First off, Salvatore Leone in every Grand Theft Auto game that he's involved is voiced by none other than Mr. Grilled Cheese on a Radiator, Frank Vincent. As I got older and watched movies like Casino and Goodfellas, I always had a feeling that he voiced Sal in GTA until I googled it and I was shocked about how correct that statement was. Tony Cipriani, whoa, what the fuck happened to him? He looks like he ate his mother after she made fun of him being too thin. Jokes aside, his mother's still alive. Anyway, Tony was voiced by Michael Madsen in this game, whereas in Liberty City Stories he is voiced by Danny, wait for it, Mastro Giorgio. Michael Madsen for me is popularly known for the Kill Bill movies where he played Bud, aka Sidewinder. Also his menacing role in Reservoir Dogs where he played Mr. Blonde, or aka the brother of Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction. Michael Rappaport, Debbie Mazar, fucking Kyle MacLachlan from Twin Peaks is here. Fucking Feech LaManna from The Sopranos is here. And by far my favorite, Joe Pantoliano, who voiced Luigi Barbarelli. We all know this guy from the Bad Boys franchise as well as The Sopranos, and more recently in Dexter Original Sin and the upcoming Last of Us Season 2. It's freaking amazing to see all these actors in this game. In the words of the late Ralph Cifaretto, you're nothing but a fucking hooah. Let's talk about the missions, and which are my favorite. Again, I'm not going to talk about every single mission in the game, and I suggest you play the game for yourself. First mission, Sayonara Salvatore. This mission is given to you by Asuka. You start working for her and the Yakuza, so she asks you to kill Sal. It's a short mission where you have to go to Portland in which Sal is at the strip club, so you have to snipe him as he leaves the club. The reason why I like this mission is because it reminds me of the mission from Liberty City Stories called The Guns of Leone, where you go to the same rooftop and use a sniper to kill a bunch of Sindacos. Salvatore is also in that mission as well, and you have to protect him as he and his gang kill the Sindacos. I like the dynamic the games had, in which in GTA 3 you have to kill Sal, but in Liberty City Stories, in the same area, you have to protect Sal. The second mission, The Exchange. This mission is the final mission in the game in which you have to exchange some money to Catalina for Maria. Things go south and you have to follow a helicopter that is reaching Catalina's destination. Doing which you have to save Maria and then you have to destroy the helicopter that Catalina is in. I like this mission. It had a variety of objectives. Due to the bad camera controls, I kept on failing it, but I just liked it. The final mission isn't my favorite, but it's just mentioned because of how I finished it. Marked Man. In this mission, you have to take Feech, Ray Machowski, to the airport, but the CIA are keeping an eye out for him at the bridge in Shoreside. As mentioned previously, the enemy AI is too powerful and will obliterate your vehicle in a matter of nanoseconds. So, there wasn't a car preference. So I just inserted the Rhino cheat and drove straight through. absorbing all the bullets the CIA had to offer, then blast them with my Magnum cannons. Stupid, really. But I felt like a genius that day. Now it's that time of the video where we talk about what everyone else does when they mention Grand Theft Auto. The music. Now, like the other Grand Theft Autos that I've made videos on, I never used to listen to all of the radio stations in this game. But as of quite recently, I've recently discovered some gems that this game's radio stations had. Like always, I'm going to leave a playlist consisting of all the radio stations for GTA 3 in the description below. Each station has a handful of songs and isn't as fleshed out as the following titles, but every song was still a joy to listen to. Now let's get started, shall we? The songs that I missed were Striped Summer by Dill Don't and Change by Connor J in Head Radio, Lucia di l'amor ci mi frena in tal momento by Gaetano Donizetti, and Rigoletto La Donna Mobile by Giuseppe Verdi in Double Clef FM. The Corpse Rises by Scientist and The Mummy's Shroud by Scientist in Keja Radio. Bump to the Music by Fatimas, or as we know it as Franklin's ringtone in GTA 5, and Feels Like I Just Can't Take No More by April's in Paradise in Lips 106. Rising to the Top by Agala and Sean Pierce in Game Radio FM. There weren't many songs in this radio station that I liked, but this one stuck with me the most. MSX FM was always a joy to listen to. But there were always two radio stations that I would always listen to while playing Grand Theft Auto 3. Rise FM is the station that is filled with the music for those who just want to get crazy or just have a gun battle inside some random club, or maybe slay some vampires, I don't know. It's filled with trance and house music. My favorites were Score, the original mix by Slider, and Neo, the One by Slider. When you're tired of the fast-paced action of Rise FM, you'll want to slow down a bit. Maybe take it back in time. All this can happen when you're tuning to
Flashback FM, where every night's a dance party.
This is Tony on Flashback FM.
This radio is filled with some 80s classics. Surprisingly enough, like in Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, every single song is featuring Giorgio Moroder. And oddly enough, every single song is from the Scarface film. And I will always stop whatever I'm doing just to chill with some Giorgio Moroder bangers. This station is for the guys who just love the 80s, or just want to start a drug empire and take over Miami. I don't know what you guys do in your spare time. My favorites were Shake It Up by Elizabeth Daily and She's on Fire by Amy Holland. I will always listen to these radio stations while playing Grand Theft Auto 3. I don't know why, but I was always fascinated by them. Immediately after putting it in, we were introduced to the usual creative Rockstar logos. Then we were blessed with the magic that was the theme song. The theme song, in my opinion, is up there with some of the best Grand Theft Auto intros and intro themes. We were then introduced to the game's protagonist, Tony Cipriani. Now, we had no knowledge of Grand Theft Auto 3 and had no idea of the previous games apart from San Andreas, so Tony was a completely new character for us. After the first mission and after laughing at the insults Vincenzo had thrown at us for driving like a blithery idiot,
Jesus, Tony, you drive like a bitch!
I told my brother, let's go jump into the water, because in San Andreas you could swim. So my naive little ass thought it was a brilliant idea and suggested that he should. And complied he did. He drove to the nearest mass of water and jumped into it, with the expectation in both our minds that Tony will swim, only for him to disappoint us by drowning. Now you must be thinking that this video is going to be about me summarizing the game story and the characters as well as the gameplay, followed by the good and the bad things in the game itself, but it's already been done like a bajillion times. So I decided to make something like a diary entry expressing the love and fascination of the game I've always had, as well as pull on the strings of nostalgia I've experienced at the game, and hopefully something you've experienced as well. Anyway, my brother and I enjoyed the game thoroughly, trying everything from cheats to glitches, failing missions on purpose, and playing rampages. But what I'll say is this: Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories is one of my favorite games in the franchise because it's one of the first few games that I remember watching my brother playing the entirety of the story from start to end. I remember how much fun we've had playing the game. Though we haven't finished the games 100%, when my brother started to trust me with the PS2, I used to fire this game up and just play for the fun of it. I never used to do any missions. I remember using peds with guns cheats and then starting an all-round riot with them while I was using the most powerful weapon set in the game, Weapon Set 3. Blasting everyone with a minigun and seeing how long I could survive as every pedestrian with a gun and a 5-star wanted level were after me. God, was their frame rate absolute crap. There were a few seconds that I thought that I'd broken the game due to too many explosions on the screen at once. But that's the charm, I guess. The gameplay is similar to that of San Andreas, so we had a lot of fun driving around, crashing and terrorizing the police with a tank. I heard that the engine of the game is a modified version of Grand Theft Auto Vice City's, which begs the question, could GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas have worked on the PSP? I personally think it would. The gameplay of Liberty City Stories is similar to that of San Andreas, with the crosshairs being similar when you aim your weapon at an NPC. The driving mechanics are the same as San Andreas, which after playing Grand Theft Auto 3 in 2019 is a fucking pleasure. The cars don't feel as if they're made out of frickin' plastic, in which if you were to cause an accident, the cars would slow down significantly, rather than one of the cars flying to Vice City after a collision. The cars also take quite a while to take damage while being shot, unlike the cars in GTA 3 where they're made out of 100% Alex James Murphy, where all you need is just 3 shots of a shotgun and your car will explode. The gang members don't start shooting at you randomly when driving at the neighborhood, like in GTA 3, but rather they are similar to San Andreas, where they only confront you while on foot. Well, that's at least in my experience. The game is pretty much the basic Grand Theft Auto that GTA 3 and Vice City was, but squeezed onto a PSP, which is insane. My one problem would be that Sony didn't put a second analog stick, which would have been a lot of help with the camera in the game, with the camera in many games, in fact. My favorite mission was the one where you had to blow up a tunnel, which eventually blew up most of the town. It was insane to see that level of destruction caused by us in the game. Enough about that. Let's talk about what everyone does whenever they mention the name Grand Theft Auto. The music. The game had some of the best music of the series. Flashback FM is just one large Giorgio Moroder album. Classics like I Wanna Rock You, E equals MC Squared, and Chase, with a few more added in there as well. I remember countless hours of driving along Staunton Island with Flashback FM blasted in the background. I would sometimes turn off the game's sound effects levels and just leave the radio on full and just play the game for the joy of it. I didn't listen to many in-game radios as a child. I only listened to a few radio stations, one obviously being Flashback FM. Being Indian, the second was the biggest surprise to my brother and I. Being Indian, there's always a chance that our parents won't listen to popular music at the time, like No One by Alicia Keys, Give Me More by Britney Spears, or Beautiful Girls by Sean Kingston, or Little Wings by Mark Gormley. We would get in the car and my parents would immediately change the station to the best radio station that would play Hindi music. Yep, and you know what station I'm talking about. Radio Del Mundo. As soon as we stole the nearest taxi in the game, the first thing we heard was this. And you can just imagine the smiles that developed on our faces as we were driving down some dark coast while listening to this song. Which, now that I think about it, sounds a bit morbidly disturbing. But anyway, the station consisted of classics like Nive Nana by Vijaya Anand, I Need Bed Ref by Ahmed Naimne, and by far my favorite, Dum Hura Dum by Asha Bhosle. That song is stuck in my head and will continue to be stuck in my head until I internally combust. I also listened to a little of Double Clef. My favorite was Anvil Chorus by Giuseppe Verdi. MSX 98 FM was always a joy to listen to. Head radio was something that you could just sit back and watch the sunset and the moose rise to. Rise FM was just filled with classics like Sing It Back by Bonoco, Hideaway by DeLacy, Plastic Dreams by JD, Positive Education by Slam, Flash by Green Velvet, and by far the most nostalgic, Circus Bells by Robert Armani. I could go on about the music, but I'll just be wasting time. I'll leave a link to the playlist of all the radio stations in the description below, and let me know what was your favorite in Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. But we can't mention the radio stations without acknowledging the brilliant adverts.
The event movie of the year everyone is talking about.
You're just a virus. You're not real.
I'm your mother, stupid!
A group of people that think the whole world is trapped in a computer.
We can't get out!
Hurry! Stick your hard disk inside my drive!
I can't! My hard disk crashed!
Reboot it!
The mainframe. What happens when 5 college students take LSD and discover the truth?
Ah! Your face is a big pixel!
And they have to make the decision of their lives.
What's it gonna be? Yes or no? 1 or 0?
The mainframe. It's real.
The mainframe!
Coming to theaters this Friday. Rated PS for Pretty Stupid.
I honestly don't know why I made this video. Seriously. But anyway, here we are. GTA Advance is indeed a game. Honestly, I never knew the game existed in the first place. It surely is an ambitious project. I mean, it clearly is a massive step up to the Grand Theft Auto 1 and Grand Theft Auto 2 ports for the Game Boy Color. And what else? Oh boy, this is gonna be a short video. So I played Grand Theft Auto Advance. Well, when I say played, I mean I played like the first 2 missions and then fucked around with cheats, as you can see in the gameplay in this video. The gameplay is fine, seeing that this is a full Grand Theft Auto experience on the Game Boy Advance. It runs well and the controls are simple. I mean, it has to. The console has like, what, 9 buttons? It's not my cup of tea. Like I said previously, I was spoiled by the home console versions of Grand Theft Auto, like San Andreas and Vice City Stories. But maybe you guys can enjoy it? I don't know. I can't seem to find the attention span for its top-down perspective, okay? I just can't seem to enjoy it. Chinatown Wars was more isometric in an actual 3D environment, and I could enjoy that. But I do have huge respect to those who were alive during the first and second Grand Theft Auto games that were released on PC and PlayStation. The only thing that I liked about this game is the story. From what I've read and watched online is that this game takes place before Grand Theft Auto 3 and after Liberty City Stories. And that means, my charming men and lady, shout out the Smiths, is that Grand Theft Auto Advance is indeed part of the 3D universe. It explains a lot in terms of the lore around Grand Theft Auto 3's Liberty City. It also explains as to why 8-Ball's hands are all messed up and we need to drive. I don't hate the game, nor do I like it. It's just there, and I respect its existence. There are no voice actors, but there are music. Well, when I say music, I mean that certain cars will have one type of song tied to it. No, I will not play some of my favorite songs, as I have not played the game enough to explore these songs. So, there is a playlist in the description below if you're wondering what songs they have. Apparently, according to the Nathan NS, awesome channel by the way, check it out, link in description, the Game Boy Advance was supposed to have its own port of GTA 3, which makes a lot of sense as to why there's a Grand Theft Auto game on the GBA in the first place. It was also going to be in a top-down perspective. I left a link to the video Nathan made in the description below. And that's about it for this video. It's still amazing that an original Grand Theft Auto game was released on a Nintendo console at the time. Anyway, I honestly have no idea why I made this video. And I've wasted around 4 to 5 minutes of your valuable time. And now you have to live with the fact that that time is now lost. After launching the game, I was then introduced to the nostalgically beautiful Rockstar logos. Then transported all the way back to the perfect GTA theme song. After the mafia mob boss and the failed drug deal mumbo jumbo, we were then introduced to the game's protagonist, Tommy Vercetti. Now, like always, I'm not gonna talk about the game's story. Here, take these. Don't go telling everyone I don't spoil you, okay? Instead, I'm gonna tell you why I love this amazing gem of a game. Let's obviously start with the gameplay. The gameplay is much better than what I previously stated in my GTA 3 video. The cars handle better and different vehicles handle differently. Older cars have a much more bouncy suspension and are easy to roll over, whereas much more newer cars in the terms of the 80s are more stable. Also, shooting in this game is much improved, where the auto aim system is much more tight and the camera angles when aiming in it is instant, making it easier to know who you're shooting. The camera, although, is still stuck to the character and can only be moved when stationary, which is still annoying. This game still fixes a few things that were lacking in GTA 3. Bikes were also introduced in this game and are absolutely fun to ride. One gripe with the driving in this game is that it's still the collisions. When you cause an accident, it's way too easy to lose control. One hit and the car that you collided into ends up being a Beyblade, or your car decides that it wants to go back to its original owner. It's like the cars are made out of plastic. They bounce off each other. This also happens when you hit a light pole. The car loses control almost instantly. But unlike GTA 3, the cars do last quite a while when taking damage. This was also the first GTA game that allowed us to fly helicopters and properly fly a plane, which was an amazing experience flying over Washington Beach and just enjoying the view, as well as flying the Hunter and causing as much damage the game allows you to do. I absolutely had a lot of fun playing this game. Like in Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories, when I was bored of doing missions, I would just fuck around with cheats and mess with the cops. And we all know what cheat code I use to cause mayhem and destruction. That's right, say it with me now. Weapon set 3. As well as the occasional use of the Rhino to seem unstoppable to the cops. You could also purchase properties in this game, like new safe houses, the strip club, taxi business, as well as the cherry poppers business, which is a necessity to finish the game, which I hate. Did anyone else feel that Tommy runs too damn fast? It's like there's no need for cars, just give him infinite stamina and he'll literally catch up to anyone as if he was T-1000. Honestly, if there was a debate going on somewhere or someplace on who was faster, Sonic or the Flash, I would butt in and throw in Tommy Vercetti in a conversation, because god damn, he just got out of prison. There's no need for him to run that fucking fast. It's almost hilarious sometimes watching him run. The 80s must have been a hell of a decade for Tommy to run like that. This game just looks and feels amazing to witness. The neon lit streets, the buildings are just breathtaking at night. Rockstar Games really outdid themselves in 2002. Let's take a break to take in the nostalgic 80s atmosphere of Vice City. Now let's talk about what I always like to mention when playing Grand Theft Auto. The actors. Now as always, I never knew how many brilliant actors and actresses had starred in this game, because let's face it, many people in the industry didn't think that gaming was going to be big enough for them to have their presence at the time. But boy, were they wrong. Of course, I knew there would be actors like Luis Guzman and Gary Busey due to their appearances in Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, but I was not expecting the majority of these actors to star in this game. Some of the actors in this game were Tom Sizemore, who played Sonny Forelli. This actor, in my opinion, is in the list of some of the most underrated actors. Majority of the movies that he acted in were not the greatest movies ever made, but he did star in some brilliant films. Some of his popular roles were the weird detective Jack Scagnetti from Natural Born Killers, Michael Cerrito in Heat, Sergeant Horvath in Saving Private Ryan, and GTA Vice City wasn't his only video game appearance, where he also played Sid Wilson in the underrated gem of a game that is 24 The Game. He sadly passed away in 2023. William Fichtner, who played Ken Rosenberg, another amazing underrated actor. I only know him for his role in the Dark Knight and his recurring role in the sitcom Mom, but some of his most popular roles were Alexander Mahoney in Prison Break, Captain Nauer in The Longest Yard, and he also starred in Heat as Van Zandt. Fucking Burt Reynolds as Avery Carrington. What? My jaw dropped when I heard this guy's voice in the game. This was the biggest surprise I've ever heard. We all know his movies that he starred in, but my favorites are Boogie Nights, The Cannonball Run, also The Longest Yard, where he starred alongside Adam Sandler, as well as the original 1974 The Longest Yard movie. Man, Burt fucking Reynolds. Who would have thought? Robert Davi, Philip Michael Thomas from Miami Vice. He also appears in Vice City Stories. Debbie Harry, or as we know her as Blondie, Danny Dyer, and my favorite, Fairuza Balk from The Waterboy. And how can we not mention Vice City without mentioning the late, great Ray Liotta? Man, this guy has an iconic voice. He will be dearly missed. Some of my favorite movies with Ray were Goodfellas, the underrated Wild Hogs, and the most recent Cocaine Bear. You can let me know which actors were your favorite in this game in the comments below. In the words of the best American football player that ever lived, Bobby Boucher once said, "And she showed me her boobies, and I like them too." Now let's talk about the missions, shall we? I'm not gonna talk about every mission because I want you to experience this game for yourself. I'll only mention the missions that I thought were interesting to me. The missions are Trojan Voodoo. I personally liked this mission. It was a classic gang war between two factions. You had to find a gang's car, then get access to a factory that is occupied by the rival gang. Then the whole thing turns into an ambush where you and the Cubans kill all the gang members, as well as plant some bombs all around the factory and destroy it. It was fun and reminds me of the mission from Vice City Stories called Havana Good Time, or Havana Good Time, where you have to take an Humberto Robina-shaped piñata, which is secretly a bomb, and once hit by the cholos, it explodes, destroying the entire gun storage facility. Keep your friends close. This is the final mission in the game, and it shows that very quickly. It takes place in Diaz's mansion. Sonny visits Tommy from Liberty City, and turns out that Lance was a double agent working for Sonny and double crosses Tommy. And alot war starts in the mansion, reminiscing of Scarface's final scene. Here you have to kill both Sonny and Lance to get your revenge. Demolition Man. This, according to so many players, is regarded as the most frustrating mission in the game, and I'm here to say that that is bullshit. I managed to finish the mission in one try. I never faced any problems. In this mission, you have to take a remote-controlled helicopter to drop some bombs around a construction site and blow it up. It was easy. The most annoying thing, though, was that the helicopter would either be too fast or too slow, in my opinion. The most difficult mission, however, to me, was Bombs Away, where you have to use an RC plane to destroy some boats. Now that was frustrating as fuck. Now it's that time of the video where we talk about what everyone else does whenever we mention Grand Theft Auto, the music. Now, like all the other GTA games, I never used to listen to all the radio stations. But after quite recently, I've realized that I've made the biggest fucking mistake by not listening to them. Here are some of my favorites that I've recently discovered. Like always, I'll leave a link in the description that contains a playlist with all the game radio stations. And the beat goes on by The Whispers, Automatic by Pointer Sisters, and Summer Madness by Kool and the Gang. in Fever 105. Self-Control by Laura Branigan, Run to You by Bryan Adams, You're Loved by The Outfield, and Running with the Night by Lionel Richie in Flash FM. A Gozar con Mi Combo by Cachao, Mama Papa 2 by Mongo Santa Maria, and Maracaibo Oriental by Benny Morey in Espantoso. Pump Me Up by Trouble Funk, Clear by Cybertron, Rocket by Herbie Hancock, and Rockbox by Run DMC, and many more funky bangers in wild style. Love Missile F1 to 11 by Sergei Sputnik, Fascinating, Keep Feeling by The Human League, Atomic by Blondie, 99 Luftballons by Nena, and I Ran So Far Away by Flock of Seagulls.
Hey, do you like Flock of Seagulls?
I can see you do.
And many more classics in Wave 103. But there were always two radio stations that I would listen to the most.
If you can't wear a spandex jumpsuit, what can you do? This is V-Rock.
Oh yeah, it's that time again where we talk about the best of rock with V-Rock. This station has some of my favorite rock songs ever. Some of them are I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister, Working for the Weekend by Loverboy, Turn Up the Radio by Autograph, Peace Sells by Megadeth, Raining Blood by Slayer, and You've Got Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest, and many more rock masterpieces to become a bouncer at your local roadhouse too. If you want to take your emotions to a whole different level, a level in which us men are constantly judged for, then you should tune in to
More mood swings than your pregnant wife. Emotion 98.3.
Hello, I am Fernando Martinez, and this is Emotion.
These are the songs to listen to when your parents are arguing about God knows what, or to listen to when you wake up at 2 a.m. in a Monday morning realizing that you wasted 24 years of your life jacking off to whatever videos you found interesting on the Blowrange website. Anyway, I went a little bit off topic there, didn't I? Here are some of my favorite songs in the station. Tempted by Squeeze, Keep on Loving You by REO Speedwagon, I Just Died in Your Arms by the Cutting Crew Band, More Than This by Roxy Music, Broken Wings by Mr. Mister, Crockett's Theme by Jan Hammer, Never Too Much by Luther Vandross, and of course, Wow by Kate Bush. I just realized I mentioned 90% of the radio's lineup. It kinda explains how my life has been going since 2014. So, my brother and I popped that baby into the PS2 and we sat as we watched the Rockstar logo be sprayed on the CRT TV. Then introduced to the beautiful and nostalgic Vice City Stories theme. When we watched the truck drive into the military base as we heard I Wanna Know What Love Is by Foreigner, we were then introduced to the game's main character, Vic Vance. Now, we didn't play Vice City either, so we hadn't any knowledge on Lance or Tommy, so we were completely new to the neon world of Vice City. While playing the first mission, I remember clearly several years back telling my brother to jump into the water in Liberty City Stories, and we all know what happened. Implied he did. He drove to the nearest mass of water and jumped into it, with the expectation in both our minds that Tony will swim, only for him to disappoint us by drowning. My brother told me to jump into the water, and I looked at him and I told him with such confidence to shut the fuck up, because I was much wiser now and assumed that Vic couldn't swim, only for him to jump out of the boat during the cutscene. I screamed, "No!" only for the cutscene to end and for Vic to start floating in the water and the game telling us to swim to shore. I was bamboozled, I was shell-shocked, I was thunderstruck, I was staggered at what I was witnessing at the time. Vic could swim, albeit for a short time, but he could swim, which made me very happy indeed. Again, I'm not going to talk about the game story. Yeah, you can watch these videos for that. This is about why I love this game entirely and why it is my favorite in the franchise. I'll never forget the fun I've had in this game. It's a big step up compared to Liberty City Stories. You could do more, not only swimming, you could fly planes and helicopters, ride jet skis or the Sea Shark. Also, the reintroduction of the famous BMX. Well, there was only one location that I know of where they had it, but I was actually surprised by the amount of things you could do. Reminder, this game was also released in the PSP, and that was fucking impressive. There's also the introduction to the Empire system. This system reminded me a little of the gang territory system from San Andreas, where you have to destroy something in order to start a takeover, but in Vice City Stories you have to destroy a vehicle, which starts out a small war between you and the gang currently occupying the business. I always chose the drug empire because my brother always chose it and he paid more. The only good thing about the prostitution empire business, in my opinion, is the special car that you get. The Polaris V8. There are other things like protection racket, robbery, but if you had to choose which empire to run, I implore you to consider drugs.
If taking drugs is uncool, I'm the most uncool motherfucker on the planet. Fuck you.
You could also purchase special vehicles located sometimes near your safe houses. For example, the Bulletproof Sanchez, and my favorite, the Little Willie. I always had fun just driving across the beach, looking at the sunshine, admiring the lights of each building lets out during the night. This game was absolutely beautiful and I remember that I would always mess around with cheats in this game, like in Liberty City Stories, but only fight with the police. I remembered the health cheat by heart as well as the armor cheat, just to prolong my battle with the cops. And the army, of course. And of course, you know which weapon set I used. Come on, everybody, say it with me. Weapon set 3. Not much had changed in the gameplay from Liberty City Stories except for one thing: the hand-to-hand combat. Vic is an absolute beast. If you walk behind someone and grab him, you could do one of two things. You either beat the shit out of them or simply snap their necks. That was fucking insane. You have no idea how many hours I spent running around Washington Beach, running after everyone just to snap their necks. Not only that, if you could grab them from the front, you could not only beat them up, but you could also throw them. So I would always grab them and throw them into water as if I was Dexter. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the actors. Let's talk about the actors for a moment. I'm not going to go into detail of the characters, just tell you who I think was the biggest surprises to me. I never knew at the time that many of these actors were also in the Vice City game. So take it easy on me, okay? I didn't realize how many famous actors had voiced certain characters in this game. Like Umberto Robina was voiced by none other than the badass that is Danny Trejo. Growing up as a child, I would see him in so many of the action films I've watched, and oddly enough, even Spy Kids. Ricardo Diaz was voiced by one of my favorite Puerto Rican actors, Luis Guzman. Oh man, what an actor. I wasn't expecting him to be in the game, but it was absolutely amazing to see him. Some of my favorite movies with him were like Welcome to Collinwood and Punch Drunk Love. I mean, he didn't play a big role, but he was nice. Freaking Gary fucking Busey was in this game as Full Cassidy. I only know him for the movie Point Break with Keanu Reeves, but his name alone is just so memorable. Let's not forget his appearance in the Hitman game.
The following audio was captured as he fled the set.
You'll never find me. I have the power of invisibility.
And the biggest surprise to me was Phil Collins of all people. He obviously played himself, but it was surreal just seeing him there, and he was part of one of my favorite missions, which I'll talk about next. Kill Phil Part 1 and In the Air Tonight. These missions were crazy. First, you have to kill all these hitmen who are trying to assassinate Phil Collins, as well as disarm some bombs before his rehearsal. The next mission, while the concert is going on, you have to stop these gangsters from sabotaging the lighting rig in an attempt to kill him. All this is happening while you're fighting all these gangsters off during a live performance of In the Air Tonight. It's insane and nostalgic. Once you finish the mission, you're able to watch the entire performance, well, without the killing, of course. Second favorite mission is Domo Arigato Domestabato. This isn't everyone's favorite mission, but I quite enjoyed the randomness of it. You take control of this robot to destroy Armando Diaz's safe. It gets tedious because you have to do some chores, but I had fun with this mission. The robot reminded me of that one robot from Rocky. We know which one I'm talking about. The one that goes, "Happy birthday, Polly." Anyway. And of course, both Over the Top and Last Stand. These are the final two missions of the game. The first mission, you have to break into the military base that kicked you out and steal a Hunter military helicopter. With the help of full custody, of course. The second mission, you have to take said helicopter and shoot at the building to get revenge on the Mendes brothers. Eventually you meet Jerry Martinez and you know the rest. One more thing, I absolutely hate the mission Boomshine Blowout. The forklift is fucking slow as shit, and it's quite annoying when you fail continuously. And it's that time of the video where we talk about what everyone else does whenever Grand Theft Auto is mentioned. The music. Like in Liberty City Stories, I never listened to every radio station, but realized I missed a lot of songs, like Blue Monday by New Order and Don't Go by Yazoo in Wave 103, Gloria by Laura Branigan, and Human Touch by Rick Springfield in Flash FM. It's Like That by Run DMC in Fresh FM. If you are a Dexter fan, I Like It by Pete El Conde Rodriguez in Espantoso. Weekend by Class Action in Paradise FM. If you're interested, there is a different version in San Andreas. Just, saying. Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye and Fantasy by Earth, Wind and Fire. And Everybody Loves the Sunshine by Roy Ayers Ubiquity on VCFL. How the fuck did I miss these? But there have been two radio stations that are a must listen to.
Other stations are for man-eaters. We only eat one thing. Lewds. From the top of the Vulture Building. This is V-Rock.
This station is filled with my favorite songs in any Grand Theft Auto title. It's something you listen to while causing damage to the VCPD, and it's something to listen to while you drive your car to its limits, as well as drive it recklessly just because you can. Holy shit, dudes. Songs like Holy Diver by Dio, Lick It Up by Kiss, Balls to the Walls by Accept, Rock You Like a Hurricane by Scorpions, and Stranglehold by Ted Nugent, plus many more for you metal and post-traditional metalheads. Woo-wee! V-Rock, bitches! This ain't your granny station. I'm sorry, I think there's something terribly wrong with me today. I think I need to wind down. And what better way than...
You and Emotion 98.3 together forever.
This is Emotion.
This station is filled with the music that's there during the hardest times in your life, during the best times in your life, during the moments where you can take a drive in a quiet road, during the night, or if you just want to cry in the shower as loud as you can because you're afraid of what the occupants in your home might say, so you use the rush of water hitting the floor as a disguise for sadness. Anyway, the station had some greats and will stay stuck in my mind for as long as I can feel things. Songs like I'm Not in Love by 10cc, Never Never by Assembly, and We Belong by Pat Benatar. These songs, coupled with the song from Vice City, kept me going through some difficult times in my life. Totally not related, but after playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City, that game and its own version of Emotion 98.3 introduced me to Kate Bush and the song Wow. It was amazing and I fell in love with her music ever since. Didn't have to wait for a certain Netflix show because GTA did it first. In the words of Kate Bush, you're too busy hitting the Vaseline. We popped that baby in our PS2 and we just sat in awe as we watched the Rockstar logo be painted on my grandmother's CRT TV. Followed by the best piece of music I've ever heard. We were then introduced to the game's protagonist, CJ Carl Johnson. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was just a surreal experience to witness. This was the ultimate Grand Theft Auto experience in the PS2 and will be regarded as the best game on the PS2. Some people may have other games that might take that label, but I think majority will agree that San Andreas was special. Now, like always, I'm not gonna talk about the game's story. Here, take these. Don't go using them in public, okay? I'm going to talk about why I adore this game so much. Naturally, the gameplay. After playing Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City, I can tell you that this, my brothers and sister? I don't know. That Rockstar games were the biggest examples of improvement and expanding on their franchises, because San Andreas fixes everything that was broken in the previous titles. I mean, of course, it's got its own issues. I'm not going to deny that, but this was an amazing experience. The driving in this game is fun. Every car has a different top speed, and when you reach max speed on a sports car, for example, the motion blur that is introduced to elevate the speed in which you're going is blinding sometimes. The combat, whether shooting or fighting with your fists, are much more polished. When using auto-aim, the movement is satisfying and snappy, and also each NPC that you are attacking has their own life meter, which is highlighted by the targets that are visible when aiming. There is also a variety of weapons. Of course, there's your obvious pistols and SMGs and miniguns and so on and so forth, but there are some unique melee weapons as well. Unique. And of course, we all know what I used to do with the cops and gang members in this game when I was bored. You know it. I taught it to you already. I fucked around with Weapon Set 3. The camera is now free, which meaning you can now move around and move the camera at the same time without stopping. This game had a variety of vehicles, of course, like the previous two titles before it. But this game introduced us to a new type of vehicle, in the form of the BMX. It was fun to ride the bicycle around Grove Street and just taking in the orange skyline. This game also added different types of planes. Of course, there was the obvious Dodo, but they also added the ability to fly planes like the cargo plane, a freaking commercial airline, a few stunt planes, and the obvious crop duster, and everyone's goat, the Hydra Jet. This game also had a functioning airport. Sure, you couldn't go to Vice City or Carcer City for that matter, but it was just surreal using the airport to travel to other parts of the map in this game. Speaking of flying, you can fly a fucking jetpack. What? Just seeing this magic backpack when I was a kid was absolutely mind-boggling. Speaking of vehicles, if you're really bored, you can steal a fucking train. This game's map was huge in terms of open world games in 2004. Unlike GTA 3 and Vice City, there aren't 2 or 3 islands in this game. No, there are 3 frickin' cities: Los Santos, San Fierro, and Las Venturas, each with a decent amount of countryside and special locations. Each map is filled with restaurants to refill health or increase CJ's fat levels, clubs where you can take part in dancing minigames, triathlons like in Grand Theft Auto 5, strip clubs, tattoo parlors, barbers, purchasable safe houses and businesses, and many more things to do. Each place has their own gang territories too, but Los Santos is the only city in the game that allows you to take over a territory. One thing that I found really interesting in this game was the customization. This game allowed you to do a crap load of things to make your character your own, as well as the cars in the game. Like for example, CJ could get a haircut all to your liking. You could paint his body with tattoos, buy a variety of clothes and jewelry, whether it be formal, informal, sporting, or whatever you find suits CJ best, and a mixture of all. You can also change the figure that CJ has. You can make him skinny, you can make him roided up, or you can make him fat.
He's fat!
Like me. You can also have CJ learn different fighting styles which alter how CJ fights, like boxing, kung fu, or Muay Thai. You can also customize cars that you have stolen. Only a handful of cars can be fully customized, but all the cars can be fitted with wings or spoilers, rims, and nitro, which makes this the only game with the car customization feature in the entire franchise until Grand Theft Auto 5. There is so much you can do in this game that I'm too lazy to mention, so I suggest you play this game for yourself. Since we are at the topic on different versions, let's talk about it. In 2020, I made the horrible mistake of buying the physical copy on the PS3. It's just the shitty mobile port of the game, the old shitty mobile port of the game. There is the original Xbox version which I haven't played, but you can decide for yourself. The PC version misses a few in-game songs, and if you want a better experience, you're going to need to install a lot of mods to fix and add the missing things. Never touch the PS3 or the Xbox 360 versions, okay? And learn from my mistake. You can try the definitive editions if you want. I mean, they are the same mobile versions. But for the ultimate experience, play it on the PS2. It just feels better. You don't need more of an explanation than that. Now let's move on to my favorite part, the actors. Like the previous titles, San Andreas had a variety of brilliant Hollywood actors and rappers. Here are some of my favorites. Young Melee as CJ. He is a rapper, and we also know him as the cousin of Franklin Clinton, or by his real name, Sean Fantano. Young Melee recently acted in a movie called The Kings of LA alongside Gerald Sling Johnson, but we know him as Lamar from GTA 5. Chris Penn as Officer Eddie Pulaski, another underrated actor in Hollywood. He is most popularly known as Nice Guy Eddie from the Reservoir Dogs, and as well as starring in films like Footloose and True Romance. He sadly passed away 2 years after Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was released. Fazian Love as Sweet Johnson. He is mostly known for comedy movies like Friday and Elf, as well as The Replacements. But being South African, he is most popularly known from the South African comedy classic called Mr. Bones. Do your own research on that, okay? I personally think it's kind of annoying. Anyway, next on, Samuel L. Jackson as Officer Tenpenny. Mr. Motherfucker himself. I had a massive smile hearing his voice when I was a kid, because he's pretty much the reason as to why I like to swear a lot. Some of my favorite movies with him are Pulp Fiction, Do the Right Thing alongside Giancarlo Esposito, Django Unchained, and so many much more movies that I won't mention just to save time. The return of actors like Frank Vincent, William Fichtner, Danny Dyer, and Debbie Mazar, and the actors that surprised me the most, Peter Fonda as the Truth, James Woods as Mike Torino.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
David Cross as Zero, and Ice-T as Mad Dog. Now let's move on to my favorite missions. I'm not going to mention many missions, for I implore you to witness it for yourself. My favorite missions were Black Project. In this mission, the Truth asks you to break into Area 69 and retrieve or steal the jetpack. This mission can be done in two ways: alerting the guards by going in full guns blazing, or go in using stealth, which I personally like due to the variety of approaches this mission had. It's also crazy seeing some random guy from a gang randomly enter a military base and fly off with a jetpack. It's basically how the Fast and Furious franchise is today. The Da Nang Thang. In this mission, you are tasked by Woodsy Moo to get on a ship that has refugees in them. CJ frees the refugees, and one of them tells him where the leader is. You shoot away towards him, and he's waiting for you, where he's wielding a sword. So he expects a dramatical sword fight. In the back of my mind, I remember this scene from The Waterboy.
You can do it! Cut his fucking head off!
I was ready for this battle. We were ready to have the best sword fights you've ever seen. So, what did I do? I instead blasted him with my combat shotgun and escaped. St. Mark's Bistro. In this mission, Sal tells you to go to St. Mark's Bistro in Liberty City and kill Marco Ferrelli. This mission is by far my favorite because apart from Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, it's the only game that allows you to visit an old city for a mission. CJ takes a taxi to the restaurant where he kills all the gang members and Marco, and just going through this new interior is so refreshing. Now it's that time of the video where we talk about what everyone else does whenever they mention Grand Theft Auto: the music. In this game, like always, I never used to listen to all the radio stations. Only while I was in college that I realized that I need to give them a try, and boy were there a lot of gems in each station. Like always, I will leave a playlist with all the game's radio stations in the description below for you guys to give them a try. It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, Rebel Without a Pause by Public Enemy, The Vapors by Buzz Markie, and Warm It Up Kane by Big Daddy Kane in playback, Crazy by Willie Nelson, All My Exes Live in Texas by Whitey Schaefer, I Love a Rainy Night by Eddie Rabbit, 3 Cigarettes in an Ashtray by Patsy Cline in K. Rose, Love Roller Coaster by Ohio Players, Odyssey by John Harris, Between the Sheets by the Isley Brothers, and Hollywood Swinging by Kool and the Gang in Bounce FM, Murder Rap by Above the Law, Hood Took Me Under by Compton's Most Wanted, Deep Cover by Dr. Dre featuring Snoop Dogg, and How Could Just Kill a Man by Cypress Hill in Radio Los Santos, Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode, Mother by Danzig, Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machines, Them Bones by Alice in Chains, and Cult of Personality by Living Color in Radio X. So You Like What You See by Samuel, Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe, Motown Philly by Boyz II Men, and My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It by En Vogue in CSR 103:9, Wicked in a Bed by Shabba Ranks, Armageddon Time by Will Williams, Drum Pan Sound by Reggie Stepper, and Pressure Drop by Toots and the Maytals in the returning Keja Radio West, Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs, Cross the Tracks, We Better Go Back by CO and the Max, Lowrider by War, and Express Yourself by Charles Wright and the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band in Master Sounds 98.3. But there are 2 radio stations that I used to listen to whenever playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Classic rock the way it was meant to be enjoyed. On Dust.
I can't believe I get to play music for a living, even if it is other people's. Hey, whatever happened to Love Fist?
This station is full with rock classics that you want to raid your local military base to. Some of my favorites are Young Turks by Rod Stewart, Free Bird by Lynyrd Skynyrd, A Horse with No Name by America, and White Wedding by Billy Idol, and many more that I haven't mentioned. If you're looking for a moment in time where you can dance in your head and in the middle of a busy freeway, then you should tune in to
House music all night long. You know it makes sense. SFUR. You're on SFUR listening to house music. I'm Hans. That's about it, really. Shut up and dance, you fools!
Some of my favorite songs were Can You Feel It Chuck D Mix by Mr. Fingers, Pacific 202 by 808 State, Make My Body Rock the Basic Mix by Jamanda, Promised Land Club Mix by Joe Smooth featuring Anthony Thomas, and Mafumbe by Culture Vibe. I just love house music and 90s Eurodance. I don't like to dance, but just listening to these songs just wanna make my body move in ways I never thought possible. GTA 3, in my opinion, is the most frustrating game in the franchise due to its brutal enemy AI and prehistoric gameplay. Fortunately enough, this game sparked the beginning of a giant in the gaming industry. I think many people hold this game so dearly to their hearts is because they never experienced anything like it when it was launched at the time. Kinda like how I hold both Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories at such a high spot in my list. I grew up with it. I loved their stories and their little quirks. If you like GTA 3, that's fine. If you don't like GTA 3, that's also fine, because it was just the beginning. If GTA 3 never did as well as it did, I doubt we would have gotten the juggernauts that are Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5. I do recommend you try the game for yourself and then come up with your own opinions on what you play, and which versions of them is totally your choice. There is the definitive edition, which fixes a few things like the camera and the free aim, and it looks slightly better now after several updates. That's about it really. All in all, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories will always have a special place in my heart. It was the first Grand Theft Auto game that I've owned. It was the first Grand Theft Auto game that I've ever played. And it was the first Grand Theft Auto game that I've watched my brother complete the story of. And the second GTA game that I've ever played the most of. I don't know what GTA 6 will bring in the future, but whatever happens, Liberty City Stories will always be a game that I will always look back to. Let's not forget the brilliant conversion mod for Liberty City Stories called Sandaku Chronicles by Barcode Studio, which expands the story of the game, of the main story, which I highly recommend you try. And that's that, my experience of Liberty City Stories. You may have a different experience with the game, but we cannot deny the fun that was had while playing it. GTA Vice City has to be the most iconic game in the franchise, with its vibrant colors, fun characters, and badass protagonists. To be quite honest, those words pretty much describe every other Grand Theft Auto game. I honestly had a lot of fun playing this game and enjoyed every bit of it. It's not my favorite, but it's a close third in my list. As mentioned, Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories is my favorite game in the franchise. I hope GTA 6 will eventually take that spot, but we still haven't heard anything yet. This game's atmosphere, characters, story, music is all worth revisiting them and reliving the experience of playing the game for the first time. Speaking of characters, I didn't know that this guy in the beginning of Vice City was actually Vic Vance. He looks like he's been through some shit following the events of Vice City story. It's unfortunate to see him die in such a way. Such a weak way. I always thought Vic would die in a blaze of glory, killing every single gang member and corrupt cop in Vice City. But instead he dies while doing a drug deal. It's a shame that we'll never get a true remaster of this game due to its copyrights, as well as the appearance of Phil Collins. But I can't recommend this game enough to any of you guys looking to revisit the old Vice City before GTA 6 releases. The best way to play this is on PS2 hardware or the PCSX2, or you can always try it on the PSP. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is the most fun, chaotic and impressive game that I had ever played as a kid. I will always remember it as the game that launched my interest in Rockstar games and their IPs. If you hadn't played San Andreas yet, I suggest you do, because you won't regret it. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a few things in this video, but I'll let you explore the game even more by yourself. Whatever you play it on, you'll have a great time with it, except for the mobile ports. Never touch the mobile ports. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I don't have a consistent schedule. It's like I'm brown bread. I say I expire next week Tuesday, but I start getting moldy tomorrow afternoon. I really do hope you understand that joke. Anyway, thank you so much for your continuous support. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time. Till we meet again.